All right. Hello and welcome, everyone. Today's video is part of the ongoing effort to expand the public archive, which you can check out at brozime.com. I'm developing the public archive to be an all-in-one, easy-to-use guide for new and returning Warframe players. If you'd like to get early access to the project notes in progress, or to provide feedback or new ideas for the public archive, you can become a member on Patreon, or additionally, subscribe on Twitch. Thanks so much to all of my current subs and patrons for supporting the project. Now let's jump into the video. All right. Hello and welcome, everyone. So, today we're going to talk about Styanax. Styanax is the 50th Warframe, and with the launch issues that were going on fixed, if you log into Warframe up until the 22nd of September, you will immediately just have Styanax just for logging in, which is very nice. That also means that everybody has him, so many of you that are here are probably wondering, how do I build this Warframe, and are they good or not? Well, too long didn't read on this whole video. Styanax is quite good. He's quite powerful. He's not like the most insane frame ever. He's not like the new S rank. He's not like absolutely busted out the waz. But he is very, very good, and he has a lot going for him, including it's kind of hard to replace abilities on him because he has 4 good abilities. And I wanted to go over those first before we talk about builds and stuff. So, first and foremost, we have just some random enemies set up here. We have his 1. So if you use his 1, you can hit an enemy with a spear that does have some homing, and then whenever they contact a surface with the spear in them, it will vortex enemies together, allowing you to have some nice, just, gathering of enemies, and also do some, okay damage. Basically, you get a vortex effect. This has pretty good range scaling, and you could theoretically build around it, although I have chosen not to. It is a fairly strong ability. Also notable, if you cast this while you're in his 4, you gain a bunch of height, which I will show off. His second ability is his Therastrike, which is just a shield smack. This does have a base 50% armor reduction and shield reduction, so it can very, very easily strip armor, even with low strength. Well, as long as you're not negative strength, it's never going to take more than 2 casts in order to fully strip an enemy of all armor, which is really nice. This also is a knockback effect that works on more things than you'd think it would. It is working on disruptors and stuff like that to keep them away from the points they want to blow up. And it's just a really good ability. This is also his helmet ability, which is quite good and is going to be used, I think, on a lot of Warframes. I can't wait to get a second Styanax so I can get that into the helmet system and start utilizing it on a few different Warframes and testing it out. His third ability is his general buff that you should always have going, and that is his Rally Point. Rally Point basically makes it so if you or any teammate in range gets a kill, you get shields, which, of course, is going to refresh your shield gate and make it very hard to kill you. But in addition to that, you also get energy per second, and it's quite a lot. At baseline, you are getting 3 energy per second, and Styanax is a frame that wants to build for some strength, so you're much more likely to be getting 5 to 8 energy per second with this ability, which is just excellent, and that's for you and your whole squad, so his energy economy baseline is quite nice. And then finally, we have Final Stand. Final Stand just calls down a bunch of spears. You jump into the air and you throw a ton of spears at dudes. You can kind of fly whenever you're doing this, and the amount of spears that you throw scales based on duration. And you can cast other abilities during this, including helmethed abilities, and all of your abilities work while you're casting it. Notably, your 3 has this animation, and if you do that while jumping, it will be a torso animation, and if you do that while in your 4, there's no animation, it just turns on, so you can also do some kind of animation skipping by doing it while you're in your 4. Overall, his abilities are quite nice, and the thing that makes him scale pretty well, especially into Steel Path, is that his 4 always procs slash on every single hit, so he doesn't have a lot of trouble with armor, and even if he was having trouble with armor, he could use his 2 to strip armor first, but the fact that he doesn't need to do that on fodder units, at least, is extremely, extremely nice. Now then, in terms of builds, what I have equipped on him right now is just to show off his abilities, because I have put subsumes on him. So, the first setup is, well, they're the same setup, but they have different subsumes. This one is with Roar. Roar is obviously very easy to get, so I wanted to show a setup with Roar, as I think it is a quite good choice on him for drastically increasing the DPS of his 4, without, doing anything real crazy, and I find that usually he doesn't need his 1. It's notable here that on his 2, I have an 84% defense reduction. Due to the new way that the math is calculated for armor reductions, you only need 82% on any armor strip if you are running Corrosive Projection. Corrosive Projection is additive with other reductions now, which means that this 18% will combine with this 84% to fully strip any enemy I hit with this ability of their armor. That's really good because, especially on frames like Hildren, you can save a lot of power strength by using corrosive projection instead, as it's going to be more efficient than increasing power strength for you. So frames like Hildren will swap out off of growing power and go for this instead and be able to have more room in their build, essentially. So Roar, I think, is a good choice here. I am still running Molt Augmented, so you don't have to run Corrosive Projection. You can just wait a little bit, and then once Molt Augmented is fully kicked in, you're going to have that full armor strip anyway. But the extra strength, just in general, is very nice for him. In terms of survivability here, I do feel like he absolutely needs, at least on Steel Path, Adaptation. Adaptation is pretty much 100% required, because otherwise he just doesn't have enough survivability to live, but that's fine. Adaptation is, a staple in most builds that are tanking. And then we have Boreal's Hatred. So this is a new mod. A lot of people probably don't have this. This comes from the Narmer bounties, and it's not too particularly rare, but you do kind of have to go out of your way for it. This is 150% shield capacity, and because his passive is that as you gain more shields, you get more crit. That's really nice. The shield capacity helps him, and it's also just generally good for survivability. But besides that, we have 15% ability efficiency, which, because he is very, very spammy, the ability efficiency definitely is helping. And as a bonus, we also get the set bonus, which is reducing damage by 20% while airborne, which makes our 4 casting much safer. If you don't have this mod and you want a replacement, I'd probably just tell you to run Redirection, but obviously that is a more expensive mod. That does, almost fit, but you are going to need Forma if you want to go that route and don't want to use Boreal's Hatred. But this mod's not that bad to get. If you have access to, the later game stuff in Veilbreaker and all these things that are, new in the update, you're going to be able to go get Boreal's Hatred, no problem, and it's not like those bounties are particularly hard. Other stuff, in terms of efficiency, I'm running Streamline and Primed Flow, along with Arcane Energize. I have found that this setup makes it so I never have energy issues, ever, and that is a real ideal for him, because you want to be casting Final Stand as much as possible, and also on the other build, which I think is the slightly better Subsume for him, it is even more important, but I've kept it the same on this build. We're just running good range is important here. At least stretch, I think, is good, because the spears, whenever you throw them, do explode, and you do want some more range for your 2. And the additional range on your rally point does not hurt either. But yeah, a little bit of range, I think, is necessary. Normally, you would probably go narrow-minded, but because you kind of need the explosions on the spears, narrow-minded for throwing way more javelins is not as good. Now, for the ideal Subsume, it might be surprising, but I think it is Pillage. Now, there is an argument, I will say, I have subsumed over his Shield Bash instead of over the Axios Javelin. Most of that is because I wanted to try it. In playtesting, I do think that there's the potential that you would want the Shield Bash more than the Axios Javelin, because I tend not to use this even still. And there are certain situations where I do want the one-tap complete armor strip, which I would still have access to with this build, and also to be able to use Pillage. So there's some chance that you actually just want the versatility, because the difference between Theros Strike and Pillage is that Pillage strips half as much armor, which means in order to fully strip armor, I will need to cast it twice. But the benefit to Pillage is that it affects a very, very large area and hits basically every enemy. And on top of that, we get a ton of shields from it. So not only are we, helping keep us alive, but we are also proccing our passive for that extra crit. And in addition to that, this cleanses statuses. Slash status and heat status can really get at Styanax and really make his day very bad. So this helps get rid of that stuff and keep us free of status and not have to worry about it. But yeah, things are pretty much the same on both builds. I don't think I would change too much between them. There are some things you could change here. They're like adding Redirection instead of Boreal's Hatred if you don't have it or don't want it. And it is worth noting that this is a one form of build that does not require an Umbral if you drop Prime Sure-Footed. Prime Sure-Footed is only really here so I can use explosive weapons without having to worry about getting blown away whenever I do. But in general, getting knocked down, even besides the explosive stuff, is going to be one of the primary ways that Styanax will absolutely die. If you get caught out and get knocked down, you need to be killing and you need to be doing stuff in order to stay alive, at least in the Steel Path, of course. And getting knocked down will just immediately kill you, pretty much. So you want to avoid that as much as you possibly can. So I went Prime Sure-Footed, and Power Drift and Cunning Drift and stuff like that is not going to be too much of a value add on him anyway. But yeah, the general strat here, also we're using the Egret. These weapons are going to be available next week from Call's Garrison, but I am going to show them off in this video. These are quite good. This is the build that I'm on right now. But yeah, this is what's up. I think it is quite solid. Worth noting, there is a visual bug with casting Pillage during his 4, where it will cancel your like throwing animation and will like make you walk in the air, which is kind of funny. But there's no like actual gameplay limitation. It just looks a little goofy. So we will unpause this and throw the Ancients back in here, as they usually are. And get at these 190s, who are not really going to pose too much of a threat, if I'm honest. We can still throw our spear and everything else, and then throw a lot of spears. You can recast very easily in the air to keep it going, and generally speaking, you can just absolutely saturate an area with exploding javelins, which is quite nice and very powerful. But yeah, he's very good. He's like super solid. I don't think that he's broken at all. Like, I know that for a lot of people, getting Styanax and like using him as compared to what you may be used to using, especially for players that are very early on, he could feel really, really OP, because I feel like his 3 is just incredible for new players, or just like players that don't have like the mods that they need for the more powerful builds. I think he is just really well-rounded for pretty much any level of play, which works out really well because everyone at every level of play is getting him. So yeah, I do have some footage from just doing some steel path testing I was doing with him. It's going to be the pillage run, so enjoy that, and I will see you tomorrow. Boreal's hatred over redirection, 15% efficiency and 20% DR while airborne. Mostly the efficiency.
Harvesting Kuba nearby. Set off the alarms to draw them out, then steal their Kuba catalysts. Predictable. As expected, Grineer have shut down the environmental systems, sending modified life support
Okay, let's
capsules.
do a double check first so we can do this.
To sustain your
Wow, you can do no animation twos. That's super busted. Okay, well, I'm way into that. Oh no, you do an animation. You do the animation, you just also continue to throw. Seems good. Yeah, seems pretty good. Running through the sky. That is a really funny visual bug, but this is really good. New war crimes dropped. Also, Prime Flow feels like it was a really good call. It'll be really, really good in this build whenever you can, if I have a bunch of blue shards, I could use the new Tau shards to use that instead of using the mod slot on Flow, potentially. Yeah, this is really rude, actually.
Activating it will buy you more time.
Because this is like really good survivability plus. It also looks like you can use it to like cancel your height gain, so you can like hover at door height. That part might be a bug, but also being able to hover at door height is actually like kind of good. Yeah, this height. Yes, Styanax is an attack helicopter. You're not wrong.
Prepare for life support.
The other nice thing about this is that like it's a larger armor strip than his 2, and obviously it's half as effective. But because he's a frame that wants to attack a lot of enemies all at once. So like half is plenty in a lot of cases.
Additional life support.
And if
has
half's
arrived.
not enough, you just cast it again. Oh, my 3 was off. I was like, why does my energy slightly go down? Oh, my 3's off. That makes the Styanax giveaway bugs? Yeah. Yeah, this solves all the problems we were experiencing. Yeah, I was unawares that you could cast the Hildren 2 while throwing spears. That's actually super, super good. And crucially important to this build. Just spears, my dude. Just so many. Okay, chat, you have to tell me, should I or should I not do the Gates of Babylon bait meme, even though I have never seen bait before? Should that be in the video or not? Absolutely do it. There is no other option? Okay.
The raid is off to a successful start. When you need it, extraction is ready.
It's almost unfortunate you can animation skip his 3 by doing it in his 4. Because, like, his 3 has a really cool animation.
Oh no! He died from having too much IQ.
Thank you for all your armor. Perish. Putting natural talent. Natural talent does not work on his 4. So no. Just infinite spear works. Yeah, Pillage really brings this together. First initial jumps right now, not a spear throwing part. How long do you think it's going to take for people to complain that this is OP? Whenever this is like a pretty like normal build. Like, I feel like Styanax is like pretty balanced.
That's a cap.
Five minutes? They already are? Okay, cool, cool, cool. I'm a little high up. Maybe that's the thing, is that it's like easy to be pretty strong with Styanax. Maybe that's the thing, is that people just don't know. Did you steal my gun? First of all, how dare you? Second of all, explode. Is fine, more complex than Mesa. It's actually really similar to Mesa, if I'm gonna be honest with you. Because this is like, make sure 3 stays up, use 2 during 4. And like Mesa's just making sure 2 different skills stay up. And also using pillage. It's actually very similar structurally. When we get the egret, they look fun. They're rude. That's the main thing. Just the raw rudeness that they exude is the best part about the egret, if I'm honest. Yeah, we'll stay until like we'll do next Acolyte to see if we get punked by like violence or something. See all their armor disappear, and then did you see them all die? The correlation between you don't have armor and you died, very, very strong. These want you to break their game. Always works every time. Tell us, is this Warframe busted? Well, no. And then this is the gameplay though. And they're like, The
longer you fight, the more successful we will be.
Yeah, the constant waves of the 2 giving me shields are super, super helpful. Like, really good. Also, I love that you can chain cast his 4. Like, if you hold right click, you hover. So, like, whenever you come out of this, you can, like, just hover a bit and then go right back into his 4. So you can, like, height adjust and everything else. But an Acolyte spawned? I never saw him or anyone else. Okay, yeah, this is a much better version of this build. Yeah, I think that this was considerably more successful. We also get to do, like, this, like, funny haha. Watch this one. You get to go to space. Wait, his is 1 free while you're in 4? No, it's not. Okay. What's the build? I'll show up to this.
Critical life support levels. Extraction is your best option.
It's unfortunate that the like artificial ceiling is so low here, otherwise I would go to space.
And so we learn.
Oh yeah, his 1 only costs 15, so it's crazy cheap anyhow. I need to farm a Hildred. I apologize that you have to farm Hildred in these conditions. But your opinion about... Also, hey everyone, we have a new outro. So, sorry this has taken a little while to get going for those of you that are over on the Patreon, but thank you so much to all of the $10+ patrons. Brutus, Salazar, Dylan Dworsky, Ithrain, Jeremy Stevens, Joshua Adams, Malik X. Williams, Mitchta, Trent Hallmark, Victor, and Zach Zahner. Thank you very much for being $10 patrons. And also, thank you very much to just all the patrons in general. It's been really awesome to try and get this big website stuff off the ground. And I hope you guys continue to support me and are enjoying the content that is going up there, including this video. So yeah, it's been a fantastic time so far, and hopefully we can just keep it going. Have a good one, everybody. Hopefully you guys enjoy the new outro as well. I think it came out pretty nice. And that should do it. Later, all.